G'day guys, Tills20 here and welcome back to Copper Falls. Yes, that's right, we are back in Marble Mountain and we're continuing work on this little town called Copper Falls. We're working on it a couple of weeks ago and then I sort of abandoned it while I was checking out the new campus DLC. But to be honest, I am itching to get back into this area and continue working on this small town. There's still a fair bit to do. I do plan to continue it all the way around here along this riverside. I'm not going to hit up this side for a little bit, and this side's going to be mostly farms, I would imagine, this little headland over here. So there's plenty of work to do. I reckon I'm going to tackle a bunch of it in a live stream at some stage. But today's episode, I go on a massive tangent. Well, at least I think I'm going to. Well, you guys know that I've been hanging around and floating around San Francisco area, for inspiration, and I found this really cool little spot. Now, let me just put this on pause, and let me get up Google Earth. Alright, so I've been mostly checking out around here for inspiration to build Copper Falls and some of the mountainsides too, because that fits in really nicely for Marble Mountain. So because we're on the water side, I was starting to look around here for inspiration for like types of houses I can put down near the water. And I found this really cool spot here. And I kind of want to build it. It's even super similar with the double bridge, which is what Copper Falls has. The mountainside is also incredibly similar. There's some farms around here, and this I think would make a really cool addition. From like an aesthetic point of view, but also in a practical point of view, because this is basically a way of exporting goods from all the surrounding farm lands that is in the far out regions of this area. And look, I'm not going to pretend like I know much about San Francisco or all around here. I pretty much found this this factory here and thought this is something that I need to be placing down. So I'm pretty sure this place is a sugarcane. Yeah, it is. All right. So this is a sugarcane factory. It is also exporting sugarcane via boats and via trucks, and I think that would work really nicely for the story of Marble Mountain and Copper Falls, because we do have a lot of farms that are around here, and I think that they'd be really cool to start seeing it exported in a couple of different ways. So this train line here, I'm going to have to put some sort of train line that's going to snake around the riverfront. This goes all the way into the city, which I think that would be quite cool if we did something similar in Montana. And then this goes all the way around. Trust me, I've been following it. And it just snakes through all these other towns and cities and just go through like just marshland, and it's just very interesting. If you want to go and check it out, I highly encourage you to. I spent about 40 minutes just floating around. So I think today's episode, I'm going to build this. I'm going to try and splice some factories together to potentially make something the size of this, because I'm going to try really hard and not download anything from the Steam Workshop. And I think that some of the factories from the Industries DLC could work really nicely for this factory here. And this potentially might come in the next episode, because I think this one will be quite tricky to make. But I'm going to give it a crack anyway. So look, that's the plan. I'm going to build it here, which really isn't much room, to be honest, and the slope is quite intense, so that's going to be really tricky. It's going to be a tricky build. It's going to be a really tricky build, but I think it's going to be worth it. All right, I'm going to get into it. Wish me luck. So I was definitely right in saying that this was going to be a difficult build. I really struggled finding the right assets to create the same look as the sugarcane factory we saw in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I really wanted to achieve that look like as much as possible. And you know, Marble Mountain being this sort of series where I'm trying to work with as many vanilla assets as possible, I was really trying hard not to download anything extra, and I actually don't download anything extra. Pretty much everything you see me use is vanilla assets. I'm going to say everything was vanilla assets, at least with some sort of DLC. And actually the landscape that I was working with as well was really challenging. That slope is quite dramatic towards the waterfront, and it really makes it difficult trying to even everything out as well. But you know, like I say quite a lot of times, much prefer working with a landscape that is challenging than something that is completely flat. I think it makes it more interesting. And you just saw me trying to do something with the dock. So originally I wanted there to be water access for cargo, because that is the same case for the sugarcane factory. There is a access point for cargo to come in via boats. However, it just looked a little bit strange. I've actually deleted a whole bunch of footage of me trying to make it work. And the thing that just doesn't work with it is that the cargo terminals, well, the vanilla cargo terminals, are just way too massive for this small town. If anything, this factory is actually a little bit bigger than probably I could justify in a town like this. It is quite a small place. But yeah, having that that shipping yard was just like massive, and it just didn't look right. So I ended up getting rid of that and decided to have the only cargo coming out of this area being through the train line. So I've actually just spliced in a train cargo hub, just train cargo station, I should be saying, inside one of these factories. And I'm still playing around with these factories too, which one like actually fits this particular area, because some of them are a little bit bigger than other ones. And if you haven't figured it out, I'm using the factories from the Industries DLC because they're great. They're like quite massive, and they are actually really nicely detailed too, and can actually be used in a whole bunch of other settings rather than, you know, keeping it for what it really is used for. So of course this isn't really a sugarcane factory. If anything, it's a sneaker factory, which is that warehouse white building that you saw me splice the cargo station into. And I'm also now just playing with a whole bunch of industry growables, just using plop the growables and a couple of other mods like Move It to splice them together and make it into a bit more of a hybrid of a building, because I really wanted to make something that was really unique. And the cool thing is it still works as industry, so we'll still see trucks coming in, and the train network will also see quite a lot of trains coming through this area too. So it's actually still working as a cargo hub. And somewhere down the track, maybe in the next episode, we'll have to put down some warehouses so that we're also storing a lot of goods, because we are getting quite a lot of cargo coming in from the city and from outside sources too. And I think that's quite cool. I know that's a bit of a pain. It kind of sucks that we're not really getting any ships coming along this river, but at the same time, I think the size of the vanilla ships coming through this river passage, I think, is just a little bit too unrealistic. If anything, I think I'd much prefer just to stick with train line and trucks coming down the path as well. So I do get quite a bit done in this episode, but yeah, next episode I'll finish off this whole area, and I think it's going to look really, really cool. So a couple of things that I've done, starting with the cargo station, which is spliced in with the sneaker factory. What I'm imagining that the purpose for that factory in terms of the whole story of this sugarcane factory, I guess, is that is the warehouse that is pretty much where the bulk of the storage is being held, and I think that'll probably be where the finished product is, and then that gets shipped out and taken to the far corners of Marble Mountain region. And then this other ugly factory thing that I've created is where a lot of the sugarcane is created. So actually turning all the sugarcane into sugar and processing it all. And something that you also see me working on now is working on these conveyor belts, which I'm using. I believe they are a trolley shed or something like that. Again, vanilla assets. It's pretty much one of the only assets that I have that I'm able to raise up and down, because like quite a lot of the vanilla assets are conforming to the landscape. So I actually use this one quite a lot. I think I've used it for train stations and other bits and pieces in Marble Mountain, and it's not a bad looking asset. Yeah, the only pain I found using this is that you can't put it on a slope. So obviously, these conveyor belts are on slopes as they're, transporting the goods from one factory to the other, and from the warehouse, and from different parts of everything within the sugarcane factory. It's really quite cool to see all these conveyor belts, but they're all at angles, and they're all, a lot better, connected than what I'm doing. But for what I have to work with, it's still quite cool, and it's still something I'm gonna probably do in other areas of Marble Mountain, and to be honest, probably in other places in my other series too. But yeah, I think it's quite a cool look, and in the cinematics at the very end, you actually see some really cool angles of down a street view where you can see the conveyor belts going across the street. I think it looks awesome. Now, before we get to the end of the episode, we're still a while away, but I need to mention it because I'll no doubt forget and run out of time. But I just want to say a big thanks to everyone who joined me in my very first live stream last weekend. I had so much fun. I was really nervous at first, but yeah, I was just met with such positive and such nice people. So thank you so much for tuning in. I had an absolute ball. I'll be doing another one this weekend. I might have already done it by the time you're watching this video, but that one's going to be on Parkitect if you're interested in catching that. And I plan to do quite a lot of live streams, at least once every fortnight, potentially one a week. But that's me being very optimistic. I would really love to do it because they are so much fun, and whenever I've got a weekend free, no doubt I'll probably squeeze one in. And something that I mentioned on the live stream, I badly mentioned the Marble Mountain wiki page. So we've created a wiki page for Springwood, which is my other city and my other series that is going on, and that is like a very comprehensive wiki page for Springwood, for my city. I have done nothing on that. I can't take any credit. It was an idea that I had, and then people pretty much ran with it and created the page, created all these backstories for all these characters in Springwood. There's logos and like banners and just artwork. It's just unbelievable the amount of effort that is going into that. And now I'm so lucky because now Marble Mountain has its own wiki page. I can thank Waters. He's someone who has put a lot of effort into transferring a lot of the information onto this new platform, and Josh A20 as well, as someone who also manages my Discord channel. He's also put in heaps of effort too. So thank you so much to those guys. There could be some other people that I'm also missing out on. I'm sorry if I haven't mentioned somebody's name, but I just know that there is a wiki page now for Marble Mountain, and it is basically ready for you guys to jump on and start creating your own backstories to places of Marble Mountain. It pretty much works on a system of first come, first served, and obviously if you're going to create any sort of stories or have any names or add anything to this series, you kind of need to know a bit of the backstory before you kind of dive in and start writing about a military base that doesn't exist, or making up names for towns that have already been named by somebody. If you want to go in and add anything to the wiki, then first up, jump onto my Discord channel where we have a dedicated chat for the wiki. It is full of people who are super positive and super supportive. There's people there who can tell you bits of information that you might have missed, or you can ask questions, or if you have a cool idea, you can bounce those ideas off other people. Definitely go and check it out because it's pretty much open to anyone now. Even if you're a fan of this channel, if you're a fan of this series, and you want to, you've always seen a house on a mountain and thought, I've always wanted to live there. Well, bloody well, put your name on there and you live there. We have so much room in this series that you can actually create backstories and names for places whenever you like. And look, I think the best part about Marble Mountain, and something that it has just a huge advantage over Springwood, is that Marble Mountain is actually accessible by you guys. So you can actually download the Marble Mountain map and save game. You can download the save game whenever I upload it, which will be in the next couple of weeks. But the really cool thing is you can actually download the save game and then take screenshots of different places and then upload that to the wiki. Or you can fly around Marble Mountain or Montana, the city, and go, oh man, that place definitely needs this story, or needs a map drawn about this location, or you know, whatever. It's pretty much, I mean, I'd highly suggest you should first go and check out the Springwood wiki, because that place is pretty incredible. And definitely go and check out the Discord server too, because it's always best to have a chat there before jumping onto the wiki, and just meet new people and like get into it. It's really quite fun. And the last wiki page we had got a lot of foot traffic, so quite a lot of people were visiting and checking it out and reading up on these different parts of Springwood. I think Marble Mountain is going to be maybe even a better place for stories, because it's really going to expand out into a much bigger region than what Springwood will ever achieve. And yeah, I think it's gonna be quite a lot of fun, so definitely go and check it out. We will be having a competition in the next couple of weeks about the wiki, where we'll probably announce it a bit more officially. But you should totally get in there before anybody else does, and start thinking up some cool stories and ideas for the wiki. Okay, I've got like 3 more minutes left of this episode. I have to catch up on all the things that I missed out on talking about. I think I was mostly just detailing and trying to bring this place to have a bit more life in it, because when I first placed it down, it looked a bit strange with the clipped in buildings and the warehouse that didn't look like it belonged. Now it actually looks quite decent, and you know, that's pretty much comes down to detail work, placing down a lot of industrial props. And also you saw I created a bit of a cargo holding area with a lot of shipping containers. I don't know how realistic that is for a sugarcane factory, but you know, whatever. I think they look pretty cool in that location, and they work quite nicely. And I've also placed down quite a lot of foliage. This whole area is, you know, quite nestled in a quite bushy area. I mean, there is like a suburb that I will also be creating in the next episode that's going to surround this whole area. But you know, being out of the city and being like in the farmland, there's still quite a lot of growth, and I wanted to make sure that, you know, I was able to have quite a lot of foliage around this area. And it's pretty much the only industrial area that's around here too, so yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that is around here. I'm gonna create a road as well that's gonna snake its way around the riverside too. Probably be scattered with some houses eventually. And this train line is gonna be really quite hard to figure out exactly where it's going to go. I have to be quite strategic actually. It's really, I really don't have much room to be placing it, so I'll probably have to play with that a little bit more in the next episodes. And something else you saw me do was I ended up using ploppable asphalt and some of the retaining wall network to create a bit of a dock. Obviously it doesn't function as a dock, it is purely for show, but I think it looks so damn cool. It's unfortunate that we have no ship's dock in there, but they're actually just too big. I think it'd look a little bit strange. But now that we're getting closer to the end of the episode, I'm just filling in some areas with some more foliage, and there used to be a farm that was up on that hillside, but I decided to get rid of it. It looked a little bit strange being so close to this industrial area that I decided to get rid of it, and I actually think that the houses work a lot better on this uneven terrain. But guys, that's it. That's today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna finish off this whole area in the next one, but do jump onto the wiki page and start checking out some of the backstories that already exist there. And totally jump onto the Discord server too and start chatting to some people about some ideas that you have for some areas. I think this sugarcane factory would make a really great story, and when I upload the save game, feel free to jump in and take some photos and come up with some really cool ideas for the backstory of this sugarcane, and maybe who even owns it. Maybe it's Williams, because I did see a couple of Williams signs floating around. But anyway, that's it. I'll see you in the next episode. See you later.